You may call me the guardian of the Gaia system. That means that some of you may call me an angel. The angel that is connected to Gaia and who you can say is protecting Gaia in certain ways, helping Gaia to remain in the highest state of consciousness in order to fulfill her purpose. So that it is possible within her system that every living being can fulfill their purpose. And that is a very important aspect. Every being that exists within the Gaia system is searching for ways to fulfill their purpose. But one of the challenging aspects is that there is a tremendous interaction between all the different beings in ways that you have really no idea about yet. Yes, you are aware of certain interactions on physical level, but what you miss is the interactions on the level of the more subtle energies, and especially on that what you can call the morphogenetic systems. Within that beautiful system that you call Gaia are so many potential possibilities. But it is up to the collective, dynamic, interactive system of every living being to bring that potential out into a reality. And in this time, where there are so many challenges, what you see is that the challenges are increasing because the system is not in this moment in the right state that will allow the different beings to fulfill their purpose. And that includes human beings. The difference is that human beings have choices. Most other beings, there are some that also have choices, but most of them are simply fulfilling that what they can within the framework of the overall energies. And what is that framework? That is the consciousness of those beings that have been given the right to co-create, human beings. And as you are quite aware, at least those who are really willing to open their eyes, you can see that humanity as a whole has a tendency to think about them as being first. Everything needs to be of service for humanity. And that is not how this system is working. This is not how the morphogenetic systems are trying to bring into motion and set into motion. No. Human beings need to fulfill their role within the system, and that can only be done when they have a lot of respect for the system. And you can only have respect for the system if you are understanding the system. And that is why it's so important to go beyond the physical and include all the subtle energy, because a lot of your answers are there. They are not always in most cases, totally not in the physical situation. Because most of what you see in the physical is a result of that what is induced by subtle energies. And we include in this moment any conscious aspect as being subtle energies. So what is actually the situation if you truly look at Mother Earth, which is the physical expression of Gaia, of the system that I am the guardian, and you can say the ones who gives advice to. Every grid system, every energy, every network of lines has its own function and reflects how the overall system is functioning. As with your situation, where if you are not having a root chakra that is properly functioning, grounding, your whole system, the foundation for your system, will not work in this physical reality. And that's the same for Mother Earth. There are certain grid systems that are so foundational, you can say, that if they are not properly functioning, the whole system cannot properly function. And we refer specifically to the crystalline grids and to some of the, what you can call it, the basic grids, as they are called in the book that the channel has been writing way back when, that is, you can say, composed of three major grid systems that you have called names based on their discoveries. And that basic system, the crystalline energies, and those three systems, the Hartman, the Banker, and the Curry system, those systems determine the health of every living being in the area. So let's take as example a big city. In that city, the basic grids are all either non-existing anymore or they are not functioning properly. And what is the consequence of that? The consequence of that is that the foundation is missing, and that induces for every living being a weakened system. And how that works out is different for the different beings. And because you are not able to see energies, at least most of you don't, you cannot see the effects. And that's why you think there are no effects. But the reality is, there is a tremendous effect. And how you see that is actually that the immune system is weakening. And as a consequence, you're more susceptible for all kinds of, you can say, external influences, which includes bacteria, viruses, but many other things. This is a time where it's so important that you really learn to understand the system from a larger perspective. Because only there are the answers that bring you solutions. And there are solutions. In a balanced system, every living being will work with each other in harmony. I could almost repeat it 3 or 4 times to let it sink into your system. This is so important. And you will see more signs of this harmony if you are not working on creating more harmony. And together you need to find ways, and they're already existing. Some of you know already the answers in how to balance those foundational grid systems in order to shift the overall energies, to allow all the higher vibrations to function more properly, to allow them to bring from the morphogenetic system in those aspects that brings harmony. Can you imagine a world where every living being is living in harmony? I can give the answer for you. You cannot even imagine that. Somewhere in your fantasies there are glimpses, but it goes beyond that. It is something that you have not experienced. It's something, however, that is possible. And that's why I'm inviting you to take this message serious and to work together with increasing numbers on balancing the different grids, starting with the crystalline grid, which is the foundation of everything. You can call it the root chakra of the earth. And you know that the root chakra has to do with feeling safe and feeling accepted. Without those grid systems, the crystalline grid systems, no being is truly safe or feels accepted within the dynamic system, because there is no dynamic in the system. create together a balanced system because you are able to do that. In a sense, you can say it may be one of the most important things to do. Because we live from a state of unconditional love, we unconditionally love the earth and every living being on it, including every human being. Our message comes from a place of love, but it also comes with a certain urgency. And not for Gaia per se, but for you, human beings. Because you are not fulfilling your purpose, and as a consequence, the messages will be stronger. It's not what we do, it's not what Mother Earth is doing, it simply is the consequence of how the system is functioning. So don't blame anybody else. Then simply recognizing that this is how it works, stepping forward and take actions. We love you unconditionally and we will support you in any way possible without, of course, interfering with your free will. You have to make the choice.